Most advice about saving money quietly assumes there's extra money hiding somewhere. That if you really wanted to save, you just need to cut a few things and try harder or be more disciplined. But the reality for most people is that when income is tight, saving doesn't just feel hard, it literally feels unrealistic. Every dollar you earn already has a job before it reaches the bank account. Every expense already feels necessary. And hearing generic advice can actually make things even worse because it creates guilt instead of progress. This video isn't about pretending your situation is easier than it is. It's not about saving more money through willpower. It's about saving smarter. It's about building stability slowly, realistically, and strategically, even when there isn't much room to breathe. So let's get into it with the first step: stopping the bleeding. When income is tight, the first goal often isn't growth but containment. Before you worry about saving, investing, or any long-term goals, you have to stop things from getting worse. That means no new bills, no new subscriptions, no new buy now pay later plans, and no new debt unless it's truly unavoidable. Every new monthly obligation reduces flexibility, and flexibility is the most valuable resource you have when money is tight. This step also means accepting that right now, your job isn't to improve everything. It's to stabilize the floor under your feet. That includes starting a very small cash buffer, even if it feels almost pointless at first. Not a full emergency fund, just enough money sitting there so the next unexpected expense doesn't instantly turn into debt. Because once debt enters the picture, pressure increases fast, interest compounds, and minimum payments eat future income. You don't want to be in a situation where stress clouds your judgment. So even if stopping the bleeding doesn't feel productive, it quietly changes your trajectory. You stop sliding backward, and that creates space for everything else to work later. The next step is to optimize your current costs. Once things stop actively getting worse, the next step often is to look at what you're already paying for. Not to punish yourself or to strip life down to nothing, but to reduce unnecessary friction. This is where optimization matters more than ever. Car insurance is a common example. Many people overpay simply because they haven't compared rates in years. Phone and internet plans quietly increase over time, and switching or renegotiating can free up money without changing your daily life. Subscriptions are another category that hides in plain sight. Individually small but collectively heavy. Utilities matter too, not through perfection, but through awareness. Small adjustments repeated every month add up more than extreme cuts that don't last. And this is the key idea. When income is tight, consistency matters more than amount. Saving $20 every month you can actually maintain is far more powerful than saving $100 once and burning out. Optimization works because it doesn't rely on motivation. It relies on structure. And structure is what creates breathing room when money feels tight. Next, start micro savings. This is where saving actually begins, even if it doesn't feel impressive yet. Micro savings means saving amounts that feel almost too small to matter. $5, $10 per payday. Whatever number doesn't trigger resistance or anxiety for you, the amount is not truly the point. The habit actually is. And automation is essential here because when income is tight, willpower is already stretched thin. Automating savings often removes the decision fatigue. The money moves before you can talk yourself out of it. And something important happens mentally when this starts. You stop seeing yourself as someone who can't save, but you instead become someone who saves, even if it's small. I don't want to sound like a motivation coach, but that identity shift is actually more powerful than you might think. It builds you confidence and also momentum. And once consistency exists, increasing the amount later feels far less intimidating and far easier. Micro savings aren't about math. They're about proving to yourself that progress is possible in your current situation and not in some future imaginary one. After that, build an emergency fund to protect your savings. Once micro savings exist, they need some protection as well. That's where an emergency fund comes in handy. Not a huge one, not 6 months of expenses, just a growing buffer whose only job is to keep emergencies from wiping out your progress. Without this step, saving feels pointless because one unexpected expense resets everything back to zero. I'm talking about a car repair, a medical bill, a sudden fee, and suddenly all that effort disappears and we're back to depression time. The emergency fund breaks that cycle. It absorbs shocks so savings can keep going. Even $10 per payday into an emergency fund makes a difference over time. And beyond the money itself, it creates emotional relief. You're no longer one problem away from panic, and you don't feel trapped every time something unexpected happens. Emergency funds don't prevent bad things from happening. They prevent bad things from undoing everything you're trying to build. Next, redefine what progress looks like when income is tight. One of the biggest reasons saving feels impossible when income is tight is because people define progress in unrealistic ways. Progress becomes a big number, a milestone, or a finish line. And when you're far from that, it feels pointless to even start. Strategic saving requires redefining progress. Progress isn't the balance, it's the behavior. It's the fact that you stopped making things worse, that you created a buffer, even a tiny one, that you saved something consistently instead of nothing. When income is tight, progress is fragile, it's slow, and it's easy to erase if expectations are too high. Redefining progress means valuing survivability over perfection. It means understanding that staying stable during a hard season is a win. And once stability exists, bigger decisions become possible. A better job search, skill building, negotiating pay, or even a side income. Those moves are far easier to make when you're not constantly reacting to financial emergencies. Saving isn't the end goal. It's what makes long-term improvement possible. Saving isn't about perfection, it's about survivability and progress. When income is tight, saving money isn't about hitting ideal numbers or following perfect plans. It's about survivability. It's about staying upright long enough for momentum to build. Strategic saving means focusing on what actually works in your real situation, not what looks impressive on paper or sounds good in theory. Once consistency exists, the confidence grows and options expand. And then it becomes realistic to think about bigger, more impactful changes, a new role, new skills, and a different income path. But none of that is sustainable if your financial life is constantly in crisis mode. Saving isn't the finish line, but actually the foundation. One could argue that actually, no matter your financial situation, the best course of actions are often the same. Meaning, whether we have $1 million or just $10 in the bank, we should always focus on reducing and optimizing our current expenses, as well as trying to level up our capabilities to increase our sources of revenue. The major difference when you have a lot of money saved compared to when you're just starting to save is that when you have a lot of cash reserve, you can afford to be less optimized in your finances. For example, saving $50 a month on your car insurance is more important when you have no savings than when you have lots of savings, but it doesn't change the fact that whether you're rich or not, saving money on your car insurance is still a good financial decision to make. The main difference is that when you're rich, you have more ground to be reckless or to be focusing on making more money elsewhere. If this video helped you rethink saving money when income is tight, click on one of the videos on your screen right now. They go deeper into similar or different financial content. See you on the next one.